Good morning. How are you?
Kiumars Arzani is a very engaged member of his community.
This is a man who is genuinely passionate about education.
He is tireless, he's energetic, he's passionate.
Obviously they didn't come here because of the facility, they came here because of the academics, they came here because they're being recognized, they're being, their kid has a place here.
He has been an exemplary leader for the charter schools movement and absolutely committed to excellence.
He's a leader by example. He won't ask any student, any staff member to do anything he's not willing to do.
I would get strong students, I would get weak students.
He's also someone who's deeply, deeply connected to a lot of the political community and the neighborhood decision makers where he lives.
It was come visit my school, see what we're doing here, but it was also how can I help the entire community? How can I help not just the kids at Ivy Bound, but in the whole district? And he was engaged on that level from the very beginning.
4 years ago, we were looking for leaders that had a story to tell and had existing relationships. And because of the results of an election in this particular district, we became aware that Kiumars had a fantastic relationship with Adrien Nazarian.
This was a time when the assembly seat was available. Brian Johnson was running, and Brian Johnson was CCSA, and all of us at CCSA were behind Brian Johnson.
You've helped us as a school.
But at the same time, there was another person who was running for the same seat, Adrien Nazarian. And when I spoke with him, I realized that even though he may not know as much as I'd like for him to know about charter schools and traditional schools or so on and so forth, but his intentions are good.
He came to me and said, well, I like this other gentleman in the race, and I believe in what he is talking about because he comes from the same cause that I come from. But after meeting you, learning about your background, I appreciate what you're bringing to the table. It was a very unique voice. So I very much appreciated his approach and took to it. And it's been a great partnership ever since.
We're right. Good for you. When the elections happened, Adrien won, and then guess where he lands? He lands on the education committee. Jed and Myrna contacted me and told me, we've got a bill on the assembly floor and we need Adrien's vote.
He helped us bring that conversation closer to the legislature.
And I reached out to him and I said, Adrien, you need to support us here. This is an area where we're struggling. And he said to me, because I know what you're doing, I'm not going to vote for it, I'm not going to vote again, I'm actually going to sit out. Adrien was a swing vote initially, and we needed Adrien. And for him not to be in that room voting allowed it to become an even split, so they went back, and when they came back, they had time to pull some things that some of these members were not for, and then the bill passed.
Kiumars Arzani and his relationship with Adrien Nazarian was really an example for us.
How do you know who the lawmaker supporters are?
We realized if we replicate this across the entire state, how powerful would we be? And that's exactly what we did. He was our very, very first Capitol Advocacy Leader.
Another thing that Kiumars has brought also to our relationship is his consistent advocacy and always taking an opportunity to yet in one more way shed light and give me the opportunity of being educated on a certain facet of education.
Legislative advocacy, in my opinion, is so important because they make decisions that affect us as schools, that affect our children. And having spoken with many of them, a lot of them, even though their intentions are good, may not know the struggles that we have. So it's really important for all of us charter school leaders, and I reach out to every one of them to reach out to our politicians to make them informed.
There's no reason for him to be doing this other than the fact that he cares. And I think that's an important thing to realize when you look at a man who's willing to do so much. There's nothing to gain other than the joy that helping other people brings.
I'm such a believer in this movement. I've been wanting to retire for a long time. And the reason I haven't is because I feel this movement is just beginning. So I want to thank my family, I want to thank my staff, my administrators, I want to thank the district, I want to thank CCSA for voting, for helping us.